Hey guys, how's it going? It's 8-Bit Eric. Welcome back to the channel. So a lot of updates and fixes and bug fixes and glitch fixes have to be done on a lot of these consoles. A lot of them are, again, reports of crashes. I've had two on Spider-Man and Miles Morales on the PS5. And then on Xbox, the only game that has crashed on me so far is Call of Duty Cold War. So now there are features and stuff that are confirmed to be coming to each console. Now in the world of PlayStation 5, there is a key feature that they will be confirming that will help with certain things, as certain glitches and screen tearing and things like that. So we're going to read this news article. If this is your first time coming to the channel, guys, why don't you go ahead and hit that red subscription button down below so you don't miss when I upload. So here we go. It says, Sony confirms it will add a key Xbox Series X visual feature to the PlayStation 5. So there's something that Xbox Series X has right now that Sony will be adding in an update. So VRR will be added via a future system update. So Sony has confirmed it will add variable refresh rate, a key visual of Xbox Series X and S to PlayStation 5. The feature, which is designed to reduce or eliminate frame tearing and judder in high frame rate games, will be added to PlayStation 5 via a future firmware update, Sony said in an updated system FAQ. This is going to be a good feature, honestly. I haven't noticed too much in way of screen tearing on the PlayStation 5 games that I have played, but there has been reports on them. I know on Xbox, for Valhalla, I have seen screen tearing. I have seen it on backwards compatible games as well. So this is something that is I think it's a small minor visual problem. A lot of people do call it a game breaker for them, especially if they're buying a next-gen console. But for me, it's not that serious of an issue, but it is nice that it will be addressed and fixed. Let's continue the thing. It says, after a future system software update, PS5 owners will be able to use the VRR feature of compatible TVs when playing games that support VRR. It said, according to Sony, a modern television with HDMI 2.1 will be required to use VRR on PS5. Although VRR is supported by Microsoft's last generation consoles, the feature has become even more important for next-gen games, which support frame rates of 60 frames per second and above. As explained by Digital Foundry's Alex Baragila, I hope I said that name right, the feature is a noticeable omission on PlayStation 5 at launch, as some games such as Assassin's Creed Valhalla suffer from visible frame tearing on the platform. And you know what? That's not just on PlayStation 5. Like I said, I have confirmation that it's happened on Xbox Series X. It was quite noticeable when I was live streaming Assassin's Creed Valhalla, as a matter of fact. It's okay. It's not that bad, but it does have quite a bit of it. So it says, as more games target 60 frames per second in the cross-gen period and don't quite sustain the target, so we're seeing a resurgence in games with screen tearing, something that was all but gone on last-gen console systems. This isn't a welcome development, to be honest, and that's why VRR, variable refresh rate, is such a boon. In terms of the experience on a standard 60 HD's display, Series X is clearly worse off in performance terms. However, we tested Valhalla with VRR enabled on a LG CX display, and the tearing is gone. The presentation remains smooth. The console's fully in command of when the screen delivers a new frame, and it's a game changer, especially for this title. I'm still in the shopping for a new 4K TV, so if anybody has recommendations, let me know down below, by the way. It says, the omission of VRR on PlayStation 5 is a real disappointment, not just here in Valhalla, but also in other games like Dirt 5. According to a new Digital Foundry analysis, both next-gen versions of the game suffer from screen tearing, often during cutscenes, but sometimes during gameplay, although the Xbox Series X version is much more significantly affected. So, I definitely did see Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and it says it runs better on PS5 than it does on Series X from the Digital Foundry analysis. I always hear all the comparison videos and stuff that they do, which is really interesting. honestly. Whew. So to go on, it says PS5 version also has a more consistent frame rate compared to Xbox Series X, a publication said. The key takeaway is that PlayStation 5 is much closer to the 60s frames per target more of the time, while Xbox Series X can struggle. In fact, at its worst, we noted PS5 delivering a 15% performance advantage over its Microsoft equivalent in identical scenarios. That's interesting. I would like to see more comparisons and tests besides Digital Foundry, but this is interesting statistics in the grander scheme of things. But I think each console has its own moment, its own perk, its own things that it does better than the other. I don't do this console war stuff. I just want to play games. I don't care what console it's for and what machine it's on, which is why I get a little bit of everything. I take turns. Like, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to play this game on this one, and then I'll get this one on that one. So, continuing the story, it said, I would describe the PS5 version as being pretty much stable 60 frames per second experience with occasional little dips, the kind of thing you'd expect on consoles. Digital Foundry's John Linneman adds in the site's video report. Series X definitely needs some work because if you're playing on a normal display, the tearing is extremely distracting, like it's just not good enough. And I hear you on that. Again, when I was live streaming Valhalla from the Xbox Series X, there was noticeable screen tearing. I wasn't too familiar with the phrase or the coin or the term. I was like, what? When people brought it up, they're like, do you see the screen tearing? I'm like, what's screen tearing? And like, it's when you move left or right and you see the screen kind of get a little juddery or staggered. And I was like, oh, so that's what it is. I just, you know what? It was something that I didn't even notice until somebody brought it up, and now I could constantly see it. So it is definitely a visual fix that needs to be done. I'm glad Sony's going to be adding something to it. It's interesting that this article talks about how Series X has VRR, PlayStation 5 doesn't, but then the end of the article kind of tears down Xbox a little bit and says that the games struggle on it even though it has this feature. So is it even going to work on PS5 if supposedly Xbox Series X is struggling with screen tearing? Sometimes you got to wonder what people are writing or what they mean. Regardless of what, this VRR feature seems like it will be nice. I'm glad Sony's going to be adding some more key visual features and updates. I can't wait for the next update because there are some glitches and bugs on both consoles that definitely need to be addressed. I need to be able to finish Cold War because that game-breaking bug in Cuba will not let me proceed past it. I'm not worried about screen tearing. I want to be able to finish my games. Anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks a lot. I'll see you next time. My stuffy nose.